welcome to Godly Geeks Studios. I'm AB.
I'm Ryan Maniac.
And this is Movie Reviews.
Movie Reviews. And this episode we are continuing our watching of all the Star Wars films with the next one on our list, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Which was a very, very, very divisive film when it came out, and still kind of has people split today, whether or not it's good or bad.
Yeah. Lots of thoughts.
Yeah. So the story of this film revolves around the Resistance forces slowly but surely been dwindling over many, many battles with the First Order, and now the First Order is on the verge of wiping out the Resistance entirely, because now there's only a small group of like 400 something, I believe they said, who are now fleeing the First Order, and they're trying to get away. Only problem is the First Order has made this device that can, track them through light speed, so it doesn't matter if they jump away, the First Order can just pop up right behind them. And so with fuel running low and just the First Order on their tail, it's up to Poe, Finn, and our new hero Rose to find a way to sneak onto the ship to disable the tracking device so that they can get away. Meanwhile, Rey has gone to the island in which Luke has isolated himself to hopefully recruit Luke and help get him to come back to help the Resistance, while also maybe possibly learning the ways of a Jedi. So first off, what are your overall thoughts of this film? Are you a person that hates it, or are you a person that loves it?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Oh, you're somewhere in the middle.
I'm more of like, there were things in it, I'm like, why? And other things are like, oh, bro, that's cool.
I'm kind of the same way.
I'm like, that was a cool scene, but then I'm like, what the frick are you doing?
I'm kind of the same way in that there's a lot of interesting ideas and things that they put in place that I would be interested to see where they go, but at the same time, there's a lot of really stupid decision making from just generally a lot of different people. And then also the problem that there's just way too much going on in this film.
Yeah.
That probably is
I
the
feel
reason
like
for
it wouldn't have been so... For me, it's such a hard movie to watch in one sitting because it feels like it's a two-part movie just because of so much stuff's going on. But one thing I actually do really enjoy is the storyline between Rey and Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah, the stuff Rey and Kylo Ren.
That storyline, in my opinion, makes the whole movie.
Is by far the best stuff.
That's what you're watching these 3 episodes for, is to see the new Sith, Lord, or they call him the Supreme, leader. And a new upcoming Jedi. Like that's what Star Wars is all about. The dark side of the Force and the light side of the Force. And so being able to see another Jedi having to pick which, role they're going to do, but also at the same time going, I want to pull this person out of the darkness, is really good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there were so many other things in the movie that I just don't understand.
There is so much going on, and each character has their own little arc they're going through, to the point that this film feels really, really bloated. Yeah.
I think my major thing is the whole, sending Finn and Rose off to, to get the code breaker, when the new leader at this point, because General Leia is in a coma pretty much, could have just told everyone what they were going to do.
Yes,
oh my gosh! Communication.
The whole movie, she's just listen to me and we'll get along fine. Just no, if you just tell them, guess what? They'll know what's going on and they can trust you, but she wants to be secretive, and therefore they're like, are you being a coward or a traitor? What are you doing?
And Poe is like, yo, and the others are like, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna go down without a fight. But at the same time, if they had told them, hey, we have a plan, then Poe would have been like, oh, well, let's do it.
Oh, well, what did you say so? Had she just told them what the plan was?
Because when Poe is on the ship, fleeing to that place, and Princess Leia is there, and they're talking, it all makes sense to him now. But again, no one said anything.
Had she just said what the plan was. So much conflict in this movie could have been avoided.
Because I think...
because everything with Finn and Rose wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have had the possibility of a coup or mutiny happening. And just all this other stuff. And you probably wouldn't have lost about a dozen more rebel lives. It's stupid. It's really stupid.
Yeah. Like, they were all freaking out. Like, they're on the run for their lives. They're running out of gas.
And she's just like, just stay calm.
And Poe's like, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? She doesn't say anything. Everyone is standing in the room, and he goes, we're not going to survive the night. And she doesn't say yes or no. In fact, she's just like...
It feels like she's withholding what the plan is, specifically for the sake of drama. And it just is really flipping irritating to me, because it's like, so much of this movie could have been avoided had one person just communicated and said what was going on. But, on the bright side... like you said, when there's that half of the whole rebel escape thing and just very poor and lazy writing overall, on the other half you have the really good part of this movie, which is everything to do with Rey and Luke and Kylo.
Yes.
All of that is amazing.
All of it. I think every single bit of it. You seeing how Luke feels as a failure, and then of course the Force Ghost of Yoda comes in and tells him that that's still his biggest weakness is fear of failure.
Yeah, it's like...
and we knew that from episode 4, 5, and 6. We knew that. And so seeing it being his downfall again here, hiding himself isn't a shocker. What was kind of a shocker was just like the whole like the Jedi Order must die. I was like, whoa, bro.
It's just like all of those couple years from leaving off with Force Awakens was just Rey holding out the lightsaber and Luke just staring, and people going, what's going to happen? Only to suddenly open this movie with him just letting the lightsaber just going...
throwing it over his shoulder.
And just completely renouncing the Jedi. For the whole movie, you're like, wait, what happened to Luke? Why is he suddenly... want nothing to do with the Jedi?
You start to understand it a little bit more as the movie goes on, the more you hear him talk with Rey, and then of course you hear more when he talks with Yoda.
And when Rey... talks more with Kylo.
Yeah, so it's like you start to understand a little bit more behind the reason behind it, but it was so shocking in that first moment because the last thing we all saw of Luke Skywalker
was being this big triumphant hero who saved the day and redeemed Vader.
What I think I like about this movie is it makes heroes seem
more human.
Because
he even said in the movie, I became a legend, and so then when he ends up failing and ends up creating the next Vader, essentially, he's ashamed and it's like, I can't, this can't be what I know. And then he goes into hiding.
Yeah.
And then it makes him a little bit more... I remember a lot of people saying they hated the fact that Luke considered killing Kylo for even a second. And it's just like, he would never do that. He was always the voice of reason. It's like, no, but you forget, in Return of the Jedi, there is that moment where he very, very slightly considers killing Vader. But then ultimately choosing, no, I'm not going to. So this is very much within his character.
I think people want to put it... They wanted to keep Luke on this, innocent, completely pure pedestal, but the reality is this movie makes you realize, wait, Luke is human.
Even heroes have
faults. Even though
he
is a hero to the rebels and did all these great things,
he still is human and makes mistakes.
He still had a failure in his life. And because his biggest weakness is failure, he became a hard, cynical person who decided that because I can't do this, then no one needs to do it because we can't have this.
I made this mistake once. I don't want it to happen again. I'm now refusing to train any Jedi, so this never ever happens again. Yeah. Whatever happens to the galaxy now, whatever. I'm just making sure I'm not doing anything ever again.
Yeah. So that was just I think, in my opinion, I think people were kind of shocked by the character. The differences of the two Lukes.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. I mean, it was kind of shocking, but at the same time, you have to understand that so many years have passed since Episode 6 that, of course, Luke's not going to be the same person he was then. And so
he's grown much older and wiser.
He's older. He's gone through a horrible trauma of, you're supposed to be training his sister's son, his nephew, and his nephew's the one that, turned to the dark side. And I think that point that Rey made, too, was really good because Rey was saying he hadn't made that decision yet. Because Luke was all about, I've seen into the future. And I want to make this point too, was really interesting. Rey said the same thing when she was meeting with Kylo. When I touched your hand, I saw your future. I saw you turn to the good side. Then Kylo said, I saw your future. I see you turn to the dark side. My thing is, it's like you don't really know the person's future or their path. It's the future that you want to see in them because of your fear or whatever. So like when Luke was looking at him and he saw the darkness, I don't think Kylo Ren in that moment had fully moved into the dark side. I think he was still very unsure.
Yeah, it's like they make it very clear he's feeling conflict. A good chunk of the movie.
But when he woke up and he didn't understand what was happening and he just saw his uncle with a lightsaber standing over him, of course the first instincts in my life would have been like, heck no, like, you ain't gonna kill me.
It kind of makes you understand, though, why he now chooses to run from the light, because he's like, I've tried to follow the light, and it almost got me killed.
Yeah, so it's...
Because he was afraid of the darkness that was in me, which was so much more powerful. And so now you sort of understand why he wants to run from the light and embrace the darkness within him.
One thing that I do have to say about watching these movies back to back, all like so fast for us, is I've been able to see the character development more. So with like Force Awakens, you saw it 2 years, and you come back with Last Jedi, and same with us. You've seen 2 years, and now you're going to go into the Rise of Skywalker. What's really interesting is we just watched The Force Awakens, and now we're watching this. So it's like technically no time has really changed in the movie. And it's really interesting to see because my mindset's not on, oh, how cool is those effects? Oh, look at that, look at that. It's more of like, what is the character doing? Okay, I understand why they put this plot line in it. The coolness of it is still there, but it's not what I'm looking at. It's not the cool lightsaber fights. It's not the cool flying scenes. It's more of, what are you doing with the characters? Does that character line fit, storyline fit with the character of, this person? And in reality, most of it does. Because you have to look at the bigger picture, not what you want to see. And I think that is something that a lot of people are like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And you had a notion of what we all thought, Luke was going to be, or what Last Jedi was, and our expectations was not met. And that's just the way life is. It's just not going to be met. But in the end, it was still a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, it was a fairly solid. Half of it was fairly solid. But then again, there's just the other half, like everything with the Rebels and Finn and Rose and all that.
The Rebels part aggravated the snot out of me.
The Rebels
because
part?
It felt like, out of everything, that was the one thing that didn't feel so much like Star Wars. Because in every other movie, they've had a plan. They've been,
there's been a system.
They've been organized. There's a system. And then this one, it was just like, let's do what we want to do. Let's not follow orders. Let's not tell anybody what we're doing. Okay, we're going to just do what we want to do all the time.
Yeah, and then I don't think you're going to argue with me. Everything with Finn and Rose was just honestly the weakest part, and just felt nothing like Star Wars.
Forced.
It felt so forced, and just its message of war is bad, which, that's a good message. War is bad, but just, come on, the way they were doing it, just shoving it down your throat.
Yeah, don't get me started with the whole...
And the whole whimsy of those animals and
stuff.
Well,
no, don't get me started with the whole, Rose, saving Finn right before he, sacrificed himself.
Don't bring that up to me.
And then at the end, she's like, we don't fight for what we hate, we fight for what we love. And I was
like what Finn was doing when he was about to save everybody?
He literally wasn't doing it because of hatred or revenge. He was doing it, he's like, I've got to save these people inside this bunker.
He's like, I'm doing this because if I don't, everybody's going to get attacked.
For the resistance, for the rebels.
But
and then she kisses him. And I was like, y'all have known each other for
a day.
A day. Maybe a little bit longer than a day, but still, what the frick, man? It made no sense. That whole thing, I was really annoyed.
It felt like it was just there, just for more conflict, and just as an excuse to do the cool Luke scene, which was cool, but at the same time, that was unneeded, because had Finn just been able to fly into the cannon, the rebels would have been safe. Yeah. And everything would have been okay. But, the stupid decision from Rose...
Now I'm going to talk about the scene that I absolutely cannot stand, that I just wish they never put in there. Flying Leia.
Super Leia, yeah.
Okay, let me explain something real quick. We understand that she is just force sensitive. We understand that. But what the frick? She was blown up and floating in space. If anyone floats in space, they automatically die. But because she's Princess Leia...
Well, not automatically, but it's going to be pretty quick.
Yeah. She's just like, I'm half conscious, but I'm really dead, but I'm just gonna... But what was she...
Just Mary Robbins her way back to the ship.
No. That's not... No. Like, I'm glad that she lived so we could see her and her and Luke could have that conversation at the end. And
at the same time, it's just
at the same time,
so
I'm
silly
like,
seeing,
whee! Like, what? Why? Why did we think this was a good idea?
Like I said, there's half of this movie that's good, which is Rey and Luke and Kylo and all, and then there's the other half with the Rebels and Finn and Rose.
But I do want to talk about the awesome Luke scene when he's fighting Kylo Ren, because he's really not there. One thing that I want to point out that I did not notice the first couple of times I watched this movie until today, I was sitting there going, they were already telling us. So when I first watched the movie, I really thought Luke was there. A lot of people did. They were like, oh my gosh, Luke came back! Yeah, but then when he wasn't there, they're like, wait a second! How did we not see that? Okay, you could have seen it, and maybe you did see it. Maybe you were the ones that noticed it immediately, or maybe you don't have it, and you still can't figure it out. So, when they're first there, this random guy just gets out of the thing, and he steps, and it shows these red footprints, and so we automatically know that if you touch that, it's gonna turn red. Okay, so we see that with Kylo Ren. But then they showed a specific scene where Luke moves his feet. There's no red. None. And I was like, oh, how did I not see that? Also, he's using the same lightsaber that was split in two. Why didn't I see
that? That was my first indication.
And I was like...
He's using his original lightsaber.
I was like, bro, for me, I was like, because they brought his lightsaber back because it had already been in somebody's hand, I just thought, like, he had a spare one. I was like, I don't even know. I mean, he's Luke's freaking Skywalker. But then, I was like, wow, they were telling us throughout that entire scene, he's not really here. And I just thought that was really cool. Just story writing and effects. And, so yeah.
Even though, again, that fight wasn't necessary because of someone's stupid decision.
But we cannot forget to talk about Kylo Ren killing the Supreme Leader just for him to become the Supreme Leader and, become cooler. Because he was...
Oh yeah, Kylo is infinitely better in this film than he was in Force Awakens.
Earned respect. Like, choking that guy, he was like, I'm the Supreme Leader. It's just... It was so better. And now, yes, I still believe that he's still a little boy inside that's still, like, craving hurt. And I think the saddest part for me with him was at the very end when he goes into the rebel base and they're not there and he sees, the dice. So his father's dice, and he picks them up. And he has that Force connection, like, where he can, like, see Rey. And it, like, she, like, stops. And she just pushes the button and it closes the door. And it was like instantly their connection was lost. And then he looks down and the dice disappears. And you could see it on his face that for the first time he is completely alone and that no one is with him. And I think for me that was in a way sad. Yes, he's a bad guy and he's with the Sith. But it was like, wow. Like, in a way, like you could see when they were fighting, after they got done fighting the Supreme, and he was like reaching out and he said that, that your parents were nothing and that you're nothing, but you're not nothing to me. I think that was a real genuine thing. I think he really wanted a friendship with her and, something more, but she's like, I ain't going down the dark side. And so for him to be rejected again from someone that's on the light side, I think is just going to drive him even further and further into the dark side, which I don't think there's any saving for him at this point.
Yeah. And I also do think they improved a lot more on Rey too.
Oh yeah,
by
she was
delving a bit more into her past, but while not giving you specific answers.
Yeah, we still don't have a lot of answers. Like, her parents are nobodies, but we don't really know if that's true or not because.
But I do like if that is true because it's just like everybody's theorizing: was she a Skywalker? Is she a Solo? Is she a Kenobi? And I just like in this movie, just like, oh yeah, you're nothing. You're literally nobody.
Well,
you just sort of stumbled in.
I like that too because at the very end of the movie when we see that little boy use the Force to get the broom, it also talks about it. That kind of like proves a point. Like you don't have to become.
Yeah. You don't have to be.
You don't have to be born into some money, or you don't have to be born into some kind of crazy, name, family name to be somebody.
To make a difference.
And I think that's really important in this day and age too, is because like there are so many kids and adults that think that they have to be a thing because of their name or because of where they're born or whatever, and they think that this is their life that they have to live for the rest of their lives. But I think if the storyline goes with her parents were nothing and they just sold her, will be very impactful for the youth today, because it's going to show them, hey,
you don't have to be
nothing anymore, because you are something to someone. So make something of yourself. Don't stay on your Jakku. I think that's very important. Like, don't stay enslaved to the things that are holding you back from being the person that you can become.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible if that's the story that they go with, because I think that would be awesome. In fact, for me, like, I think it would be better if, like, it stayed that way, just because it would be cool. Now, would it be cool if she was an Obi-Wan? Yeah, that would be kind of cool, because then that would leave more questions. But at the same time, I'm like, no. The second time I watched it, I was like, nah. It was dope that she comes from no one, because it proves that anybody can be a Jedi and anybody can do good.
Yeah, and then I think like the biggest thing that a lot of people didn't really know how to feel about this is that it really challenged the idea of good and evil in this.
Yeah.
For Luke is just like the Jedi have been known for years to be this good and pure people, but are full of hypocrisy. Like, they ended up leading to Darth Sidious and Vader taking over and the Empire and all that. And he raises good points. And also at the same time, the Sith, their power and their struggle and greed for power. And so this is the first film that challenges like, hey, maybe both these sides suck.
Maybe we need to have a gray side.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think like Kylo was talking about after he kills Snoke, that, and he's just like, let the past die. Let the Jedi, the Resistance, the Sith, everything die, and let's just start everything new. And he's just like, also, there's no good or evil side, there's just the Force.
Yeah, and I think, with that line, too, I think he was being genuine. I think that if Rey had chosen to go with him, I think it would have been different. I don't know if he would have... I think he would have still struggled with the dark side, but I think it may have been a little bit different, because he would have been able to see that there is still good in people, and that maybe some of the ways he's been doing it isn't the best. But when she rejects him, and all of that happens, there's just more anger. And there's more hatred, and it just pushes him to the dark side even more. So again, it's the whole like, don't go toward the anger and the hatred, because it leads to the dark side. It's true. So I'm really excited to see what they do in episode 9 to wrap it all up.
Yeah, I'm really excited, but at the same time, from the looks of what I'm seeing and a lot of the fan backlash, I hate to say it looks like they're gonna retcon a good chunk of the stuff here, which is a real shame, because a lot of the ideas they present in this film were really interesting.
Maybe they'll retcon the flying Leia. That would be great.
No, that still happened. Let the past die. But they presented a lot of interesting and unique, different ideas to Star Wars that really challenge you. But the problem is that just Star Wars fans didn't want that. They wanted their same Star Wars that was the original trilogy, which we're never going to get that again. That's pretty much been shown.
We gotta move forward, people. Literally let the past die.
Yeah, that's basically what I feel like the movie was saying. Is just like, look, this isn't going to be like the Star Wars you grew up with. It's going to be different. We're going to challenge you. And, I don't know, in a way, it kind of very similarly reminds me of Empire Strikes Back, in which it took everything from Star Wars and pushed it to a darker level and challenged you and made you think. But unfortunately, it just looks like they're just going to rewind everything. Like, it looks like they're going to give Kylo his helmet back and just...
He could have gave his helmet back himself.
I mean, he puts his helmet back together, that sort of thing, and just... I don't know. It looks like they're gonna just sort of rewind the clock and bring it back to more Force Awakens. I hope that's not the case. I'm remaining optimistic, but I'm just saying that's looking where it's saying. But again, I am hoping they are gonna take these ideas and move forward with them.
Yeah.
Because they are interesting and unique ideas.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out.
And so yeah.
In the next episode.
So yeah, currently the film ends with Kylo as the Supreme Leader, raised in The Last Jedi, and there's only a small band of rebellion. Where's the next film going to pick up from here?
Who knows?
Because this film has left a great many questions.
Yep.
Like, Snoke?
Who was he?
Snoke,
Still don't really know who he is. Now he's dead.
Yes, yeah. No clue who he is,
Who knows?
What his connection was. What the deal is with those dice. Have we got any answer for that? Since the movies lately have been making such a big deal of those?
No. They just were Han Solo's dice, I guess.
How the rebellion's gonna rebuild, how's Rey's Jedi future
Are we gonna jump into the future?
Ultimately, how is Palpatine involved in all this? Like all the trailers and all are involving.
I'm so confused.
That's my biggest question. Is like, how the heck is Palpatine involved in all?
How is he still alive?
So, yeah, that's where we're leaving off, and that's where the next film's gonna go.
Yep.
And so, in a couple days when the movie comes out, we're gonna watch it, and hopefully we'll have all these questions answered. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anywho, if you like this video, you can leave a like below and also comment like what your favorite part of the movie was. Also, if you agreed with our review or if you liked the movie, disliked the movie, what your thoughts on it were. Yeah. Give us, feedback. We'd love that. Love to hear from you guys. Also, share
the video.
Share the video with all your friends and stuff.
So we can get more mixed comment sections about people who love or hate this movie.
Yeah. And if you want to see more crazy antics like this, even though this wasn't that crazy, but we've got other crazy things coming, you can hit the subscribe button and you can become one of our supporters and somebody that we call a godly geek.
Yeah.
So,
and also, if you want, you can check out my channel. The link for that should be down in the description below. I tend to do gaming live streams and just various other random videos over there. Or you can check out AB's channel, because she has content she plans on starting up when the whole holiday season's over with.
yes.
We've just been so busy trying to catch up on all things Star Wars that we haven't really had a whole lot of time to do anything else.
Yeah.
But, yes, we just watched. We're caught up now. We only got one more movie. And I'm probably gonna be done with Star Wars for a good long while afterwards.
Bye.
But yeah. But anyways.
Well,
thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, so have a fantastical day, or fantastical night, or fantastical sleep, or whatever. Whenever you're watching this episode, just make sure it's fantastical.
And remember, may the Force be with you.
Always.